Extreme cleaners are often called in on situations that ordinary people just can't handle, but sometimes even they are put to the test. On this episode, cleaner Patty Powers and her team are called in on a body decomposition case, or decomp, one of the most difficult jobs a cleaner can face. Patty's only been told that a man died alone in an apartment and his body wasn't found for over 2 weeks. But before Patty can go in and assess the cleanup, medical expert Dr. Ken Johnson will give us a look at what Patty expects to find.
On the day when the deceased is found, roughly 2 to 2.5 weeks after he has died, obviously there are certain processes that have already taken place. He's clearly well into the putrefaction phase of decomposition, where microorganisms and tissue death has basically loosened all of the fibers and all the connective tissue and supporting tissues in his body. What that results in is basic melting and slippage of the skin. Interestingly, we actually are being consumed from the inside out by our own bacteria. We all exist with certain bacteria that normally stay dormant, but after we die, nothing keeps them in check, and they're actually able to eat all of the building blocks of human beings. Also, at this point, the gases have built up so much pressure within his cavities that his internal contents are being spewed out and clearly evident around him.
Regardless of what she's about to find inside, Patty must now enter the apartment and evaluate the work ahead. Initially, her most important task is to locate the scene of death.
We're arriving at a death scene. There is a CO from the Los Angeles Coroner's Office on the door. It has been released. We're now going to open the door and enter. It's rather difficult getting in the door.
As soon as she opens the door, Patty realizes something is very, very wrong.
The bottom of the stairway is absolutely packed with belongings and trash. I am going to go up the stairs. There's a lot of debris. There's a lot of trash and miscellaneous items on the stairway. There is what appears to be a large amount of body fluids on one of the stairways. I'm turning to my right. It appears to be a kitchen.
Patty's fears are confirmed. This is the home of a compulsive hoarder. Patty tries to press on, but her way is blocked by the overwhelming mess.
Actually, I have to go around. I can't get through. This is definitely a hoarding situation.
Hoarding poses many threats to its victims, from fire to animal infestations, as Patty is about to find out firsthand.
A mouse just ran across my foot. Okay, I am entering the kitchen. There's some cockroach infestation in here. Extremely filthy. I'm going to attempt to open the refrigerator. That's full. Flies coming out of the freezer. The refrigerator is full of rotting food. Smells pretty bad.
The size of this cleanup is rapidly expanding, and Patty must calculate the manpower and supplies to handle such a huge and bizarre undertaking.
I believe we can squeeze through here. I'm up on the recliner where the gentleman apparently died. There does appear to be some skin slippage on the chair, which happens when a victim passes away and decomposes, and the skin will literally slip off of the body.
With the spewing of the organic acids, basically the flesh has melted into the chair. The fact that this patient was found sitting up in the chair having suffered a heart attack tells you that this was a very massive heart attack, probably one that occurred very abruptly, involved a large amount of heart muscle tissue, and lasted for a short duration of time, probably minutes, to his final demise.
There is some maggot activity. The chair is pretty saturated. We're going to have to cut the chair apart and red bag it. There's quite a bit of body fluids on the floor. There is quite a bit of fly activity in here due to the length of time the deceased was here. There are approximately 11 televisions in this room. There is a lot of trash, a lot of food items. It looks like there are probably some bottles of tipped over urine. It definitely has a odor of urine. I don't know how long he's been living in this condition, but I don't think anybody was aware of the way he was living, as he wouldn't let anybody into the apartment. He always met them outside.
Compulsive hoarding affects over 2 million Americans, but is still not understood by the scientific community. To learn more about this difficult disorder, we must understand what goes on in the minds of its victims.
The main symptom of compulsive hoarding is always wanting to acquire and keep more items, more stuff. This stuff may have real value. It may be known to be valuable. They may think it's valuable when in fact it's garbage. Or they may fully know that it does not have any real worth, but they have such a strong emotional attachment that they cannot let it go.
Now that Patty is aware of the massive scale of this cleanup, she assembles and preps her team for this most difficult job.
When we go up the stairs, be careful because there's still body fluids on the stairs. Try not to step in it. Okay. There's a lot of liquid. There seems to be a pot with something soaking in it. There's bottles of urine in here.
This is probably one of the worst hoarder situations, along with the decomp, that I've been involved in the 5 years that I've been with the company.
This bed is going to have to go because the body was here so long, it has retained the decomp odor. So everything in here is going to go except any valuables we find for the family. We'll take it down to them and let them make a decision.
We're going to be cleaning and disinfecting the entire bathroom. We're going to be cleaning and disinfecting the bathroom floor because it has fecal matter on it as well as urine.
She directed me to the bathroom. That was my job. But before I could even start assessing the bathroom, I had to first make a pathway through the hallway and everything to get to the bathroom.
So we'll get started on it and get it done.
As the team is working throughout the apartment, Patty tackles the most difficult assignment.
I'm going to start on this recliner. It appears he has a jacket here that has a lot of blood and body fluids on it. He decomposed in this chair.
One of the common misconceptions about hoarders is that really it's just a psychological illness, but there's a whole host of physical problems that can accompany somebody who has a hoarding type of disorder. That general level of filth that they oftentimes live in will predispose them to other illnesses that can be propagated, for example, by rodents.
There is some skin slippage, skin from the decomposed body, probably off of the arms. I don't know what it looks like. This is pretty wet under here.
The hardest part for me, I guess, was just seeing the remains and just seeing how somebody could live with these conditions. Jars of urine and the fecal matter around his house, knowing that that's how he lived is very disturbing.
There's more skin slippage.
This is one of the most severe decomps and combination of hoarders that I've ever seen because the house is so full of his belongings and 90% of it has to be disposed of.
Faced with a near impossible task, Patty and her crew must just put their heads down and keep cleaning. They'll deal with their own emotions later. Coming up next, the crew will be faced with even more challenges on what is one of the most difficult cases ever recorded.
We're going to be removing all the carpet and pad. Oh, it's something alive.